Tonight we've gathered to celebrate Good Friday. Let me just give a few instructions as to what we'll be participating in tonight. That throughout the centuries there's been the light of the prophets and the saints of old, and as they've died and dimmed, there's been one light that continues to shine until it has also been put out. And so tonight there is no better way to tell this story than to use Scripture itself. You'll be hearing the account of what happened last night, but we're going to start at the end and we're going to move backwards. Each step of the way, remembering what took place and what God hoped would take place in our lives. At the end of the service, we ask that you exit through the center aisle only and pay attention to the single Christ candle that is in the back of the sanctuary. It is dark. And it is our prayer that we will remember that for our life to shine, that it required Christ to give his life for us. Would you enter into this worship time with me? You see, remembering is a big part of our faith. We remember the times that we have failed to follow God's way. We also remember the times that we have overcome trials and temptations by following the way Christ lived his life. Listen to what the Apostle John wrote. His disciples did not understand these things at first, but they remembered that these things had been written about him. Here is what we are compelled to remember. Jesus was condemned to death.
They led Jesus to the chief priests, where the high priests, religious leaders, and scholars had gathered together. Peter followed at a safe distance until they got to the chief priest's courtyard, where he mingled with the servants and warmed himself at the fire. The high priests, conspiring with the Jewish council, looked high and low for evidence against Jesus by which they could sentence him to death. They found nothing. Plenty of people were willing to bring in false charges, but nothing added up, and they all ended up canceling each other out. Then a few of them stood up and lied. We heard him say, "I am going to tear down this temple built by hard labor, and in 3 days build another without lifting a hand." But even they couldn't agree exactly. In the middle of this, the chief priest stood up and asked Jesus, "What do you have to say to this accusation?" And Jesus was silent. He said nothing. The chief priest tried again, this time asking, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed?" And Jesus said, "Yes, I am, and you'll see it for yourself. The Son of Man, seated at the right hand of the Mighty One, arriving on the clouds of heaven." The chief priest lost his temper. Ripping his clothes, he yelled, "Did you hear that? After that, do we need any witnesses? You heard the blasphemy. Are you going to stand for it?" And they condemned him, one and all. The sentence was death. Some of them started spitting at him, and they blindfolded his eyes and hit him, and they were saying, "Who hit you? Prophecy." The guards punching him and slapping him, and they took him away. Listen to this song that reminds us to relive the events that bring us new life.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified?
Here is what we are compelled to remember: our guilt and our need for forgiveness.
Listen to what the Apostle Mark wrote. He penned, while all these things were going on, Peter was down in the courtyard. One of the chief priest's servant girls came in and, seeing Peter warming himself there, looked hard at him and said, "You were with that Nazarene Jesus." But Peter immediately denied it. He said something like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then he got up and went out on the porch, and there was a rooster that crowed. The girl spotted him and began telling people standing all around, "He's one of them." But Peter denied it again. After a little while, the bystanders brought it up again. "You've got to be one of them. I mean, you've even got that Galilean accent written all over you." And that's when Peter became nervous, and he swore, saying, "I've never laid eyes on this man you're talking about." And just then the rooster crowed again. Peter remembered how Jesus had said, "Before the rooster crows twice, you'll deny me 3 times. And then Peter collapsed into tears.
Forgive me, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, I've been so wrong. First I hurt you and drove you away. Then pride kept me silent when I needed to say, forgive me, I'm so sorry. I need you. I always the trust that's been shattered, love can restore. And time will heal our broken hearts. Forgive me, I'm so sorry. I love you, I need you so. Moments are fragile, let's hold them close. Forgive me, please take me home. Forgive me, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, I've been so wrong. This hole in my heart, Lord, only you can fill. Forgive me, please take me home. Forgive me.
They came to an area called Gethsemane. Jesus told his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took Peter and James and John with him. He plunged into a sinkhole of dreadful agony. He told them, "I feel bad enough right now to die. Stay here and keep vigil with me." Going a little ahead, he fell to the ground and he prayed for a way out. "Papa, Father, can't you get me out of this? Take this cup away from me, but please not what I want. What do you want?" He came back and found them sound asleep. He said to Peter, "Simon, you went to sleep on me. Can't you stick it out with me for just a single hour? Stay alert, be in prayer so you don't enter into the danger zone without even knowing it. Don't be naive. Part of you is eager, ready for anything in God, but another part is lazy as an old dog sleeping by the fire." He then went back and prayed the same prayer. Returning, he again found them asleep. They simply couldn't keep their eyes open. They didn't have a plausible excuse. And he came back a third time and he said, "Are you going to sleep all night? No, you've slept long enough. Time's up. The Son of Man is about to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up and let's get going, because my betrayer has arrived."
I pray you'll be our eye and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe.
I pray we'll find your light.
I pray we'll find your light
And hold it in our heart.
and hold it in our hearts.
Stars go out each
When the
night.
stars go out each night,
Remind us where you are. Let this be our prayer.
let this be our
When
prayer.
shadows fill our day.
When shadows fill our day,
Lead us to a place.
guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe. A world where pain and sorrow will be ended, and every heart that's broken will be mended, and we'll remember we are all God's children, reaching out to touch you, reaching to the sky. We ask that life be kind. Watch us from above. We hope each soul will find. Another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer.
Just like every child.
Just like every child
Who needs to find a place.
guide us with your grace.
Give us faith
So we'll be safe. Lead us to a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be
So here's what we're compelled to remember, that our life really is in God's hands. Listen to these words. If there's anyone who ever tries to flag you down and they start calling out, "Here's the Messiah," or points somewhere else and says, "There he is," don't fall for it. Fake messiahs and lying preachers are going to pop up everywhere. Oh, their impressive credentials and dazzling performances will pull the wool over the eyes of even those who ought to know better. So I tell you this, watch out. I've given you fair warning. Following those hard times, the sun will fade out. The moon will cloud over and stars will fall out of the sky. In fact, the cosmic powers will tremble. And then they'll see the Son of Man enter in grand style, his arrival filling the sky. No one will be able to miss it. He'll dispatch the angels and They will pull in the chosen from the four winds, from pole to pole. So take this lesson from the fig tree. From the moment you notice its buds form, the merest hint of green, you can rest assured that summer's just around the corner. And so it is with you. When you begin to see these things happen, you know that He is at the door. So don't take it lightly. I'm not just saying this for some future generation, but for this one too. These things will happen. The sky and the earth, they will wear out. But my words will never wear out. But the exact day and hour, no one knows that. Not even heaven's angels, not even the Son. Only the Father knows. So keep sharp lookout. For you don't know the timetable. It's kind of like this. There's a man who takes a trip, and leaving home, he puts his servants in charge, each assigned a task, and commanding the gatekeeper to stand watch. So stay at your post, watching. You have no idea when the homeowner is returning, whether it's evening, midnight, when the cock crows early in the morning or mid-morning. And you don't want him showing up unannounced with you asleep on the job. So I say it to you, and I'm saying it to everyone. Stay your post. Keep watch.
Discouraged. Why do the shadows come?
And why does my heart feel alone? In love for heaven and home.
Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. So I sing because I'm happy. And I sing because I'm free. Yeah, His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. So I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. Yeah, His eye is on
So here is what we are compelled to remember. Jesus offered grace to all. In only 2 days, the 8-day festival of Passover and the feast of the unleavened bread would begin. The high priests and religion scholars were looking for a way that they could seize Jesus by stealth and kill him. They agreed that it should not be done during Passover week. We don't want the crowds up in arms, they said. Jesus was at Bethany, a guest of Simon the leper. While he was eating dinner, a woman came up carrying a bottle of very expensive perfume. Opening the bottle, she poured it out on his head. Some of the guests became furious among themselves. That's criminal, a sheer waste. This perfume could have been sold for well over a year's wages and handed out to the poor. They swelled up in anger, nearly bursting with indignation over her. But Jesus said, "Let her alone. Why are you giving her such a hard time? She has just done something wonderfully significant for me. You will have the poor with you every day for the rest of your lives. Whenever you feel like it, you can do something for them. Not so with me. She did what she could when she could. She pre-anointed my body for burial. And you can be sure that wherever in the whole world the message is preached, what she just did is going to be talked about admiringly." Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the cabal of the high priests, determined to betray him. They couldn't believe their ears, and they promised to pay him well. He started looking for just the right moment to hand him over.
My faithful Father, enduring friend, your tender mercies like a river with no end, it overwhelms me. Covers my sin each time I come into your presence. I stand in wonder once again. Your grace still amazes me. Your love is still a mystery each day. I fall on my knees, 'cause your grace still amazes me. Your grace still amazes me. Oh, patience grace still amazes me. Your grace still amazes me. It's deeper, it's wider, it's stronger, it's higher. It's deep, it's wide, it's strong, it's higher than anything my eyes can see. Your grace still amazes me. Your love is still a mystery each day. I fall on my knees, 'cause your grace still amazes me. Your grace still amazes me.
You remember what I mentioned at the beginning of the service? Remembering is a big part of our faith. I mentioned that we remember the times that we have failed to follow God's ways. We also can remember the times when we have overcome trials and temptations by following the way Christ lived his life.
His disciples did not understand these things at first, but then they remembered that these things had been written about him.
So here's what we're compelled to remember. That while he was on the cross, it was you who was on his mind.
I'm not on an ego trip. I'm nothing on my own. I make mistakes and often slip. I'm just common flesh and bone. But I'll prove someday just why I say I'm of a special kind. For when he was on the cross, I was on his mind. The look of love was on his face, the thorns were on his head, blood was on his scarlet robe, it stained it crimson red. Though his eyes were on the crowd that day, he looked ahead in time, and when he was on the cross, I was on his mind. He
when He